3 days on from the disappointment of Boxing Day, Argyle have a chance to bounce back with a bang tonight as Wycombe, winless on their travel since October, visit home park. A run of 3 straight wins came to a thumping end against Reading on Boxing Day. Not much festive cheer inside home park that afternoon. But having beaten Wycombe just 3 weeks ago and with a positive second half showing 72 hours prior, there is a reason to be optimistic. Add the fact Wycombe don't travel well and tonight could still be a positive one for Argyle. All of the action is coming your way on Argyle TV. Hello, good evening, I'm Erin Black and welcome to Matchday Live right here in the corner of Home Park Stadium. Argyle's home form has flattered to deceive so far. They've already lost as many games this season as they did in the whole of last year, and even with the good run of results as of late, there is concern that the wins aren't coming here, especially at Home Park. Just 3 in the league so far. If they could improve this, we could be in for a good end to the season. Standing in their way tonight is a Wycombe side that have already played 2 times in the last month, and they are wounded themselves after that 4-0 defeat to Luton on Friday. So both teams here at Home Park with a point to prove this evening. Your match passes, both audio and video, are available over on pafc.co.uk, so do go and check out the website for all of the details on that. And joining me in the studio tonight to help with the game is former Argyle defender Brian McGlinchey. Hello, Brian.
Evening.
Did you have a good Christmas?
Yeah, probably too good.
Yeah, and then Boxing Day came.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was lovely time to be fair.
Good. It's a busy time, you know, Christmas, fitting in all of the Christmas stuff as well, and then you get the run of games. I was talking to Charlie Price just before we came in the studio. He feels like he's living here at the moment.
Yeah. But for football fans, that's what it's all about.
Course,
Christmas period, it's a bit of time off and loads of games on the telly, and then obviously coming to watch Argyle live and on Argyle TV as well. So it's good. It's good for the fans.
Yeah.
Players just get used to it, to be honest. It's part of the run of the mill.
I was going to say, in terms of the result that we saw here on Boxing Day, which, you know, it wasn't one that anyone wanted. Of course, that was our first home Boxing Day game in 9 years. It didn't go that way, but then you've got a 72-hour turnaround to tonight, and then the next game, and then again, we go again on New Year's Day. Yeah. Do you think that helps or hinders when you have a bit of a defeat like the one we saw?
Well, I guess it's the only way to look at it is it's a positive. You know, you can maybe make amends for it. You can actually put it right, and there's nothing worse letting something fester and sitting on the training ground for a week or so thinking about the result. So, you know, you have to move on to the next game really quickly. You've got to focus then on Wycombe and on tonight's game, and you've got to get your tactics right. So the players will be relieved that it is, and hopefully they'll be able to put it right tonight. Yeah,
it was a bit of a weird one because despite the scoreline, there were, you know, a fair few positives in the game. We had, I think Charlie described it as about 7 minutes of just awfulness, really. But you know, second half, the performance didn't really pick up.
I wasn't at the game personally, but I read a lot about it. I saw the goals and I saw Tom Clevery's sort of post-match reaction, and they seem to be you know, a bit more positive around the fact that they didn't capitulate. They actually kept going. They got back in the game, and you know, if you know, it's all ifs and buts. But if Tolai scores a penalty, you never know how the game goes. But I guess it's just thinking about, you know, why did that 8 minutes? Why did that happen? You know, maybe that bit of leadership to maybe you're 1-0 down. You've got a man sent off. You've just got to regroup. You've got to become hard to beat and see how. And Cleverly did say it in his comments after the game. He said around maybe you just got to keep it tight for 80 minutes or so, and then maybe nick an equaliser, that type of thing. And that's probably a thing around the season, a lack of leadership. And we see, you know, some key players coming back, and that's what we need, really. We need more experienced heads and key positions, I think.
Oh, and they certainly won't want a repeat of Boxing Day again in this short period of time later. So do you think they're going to be coming out kind of like all guns blazing this evening?
Well, it's an interesting game because Wycombe's away form's not the best, and our home form's not the best. So it's intriguing to see how this goes. They've come off a real sore defeat against Luton. How are they going to react? I saw Michael Duff's reaction. He wasn't very happy. He's looking for his team to be really motivated. So they may come here a bit more, you know, lower block, difficult to sort of get in behind them and stuff. And so maybe we'll have more of the ball tonight, and they may hit us on the break type thing. So yeah, it'll be an intriguing game to see how it sort of pans out. But you two teams of, we've had a really good run of 3 games and we had sort of a real good thought like this is the turn of our season, and then obviously the game against Reading sort of knocked us back a bit. So it's all about reactions.
Yeah, no, very true. There is a lot on the line this evening. So we'll have a look at the teams for you. Obviously, there will be no Joe Rawls tonight as he's suspended after that red card on Boxing Day. But here is the team that Tom Cleverley's gone for. Connor Hazard, Joe Edwards, Julio Plegathuelo, Alex Mitchell, Matti Soranola, Xavier Amici, Brendan Wiradu, Malachi Boateng, Barley Mumba, Owen Asani and Laurent Talai. 3 changes there on the bench. You see Ashby Hammond, Ross Suge, Benarous, McCabe, Peppel and Finn. I mean, I think what we were looking forward to on Boxing Day, Brian, was the Osani-Talai partnership, which seemed to be coming to fruition, but he kind of had to take one for the team, quite literally.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, yeah. So he'll be fresh tonight and motivated.
Yeah.
Because I thought Talai and Osani worked really hard against Doncaster. I did that game and they were really up for it, and they were causing Doncaster all sorts of problems. I think it's great to have Plegathuelo back in the side because I think he gives you a bit of experience. And since he's come back from injury, we've started to get a few results, which is great. Mm-hmm. So I think again, that bit of experience. If it's sort of a goal down, you've got those types of players with Edwards as well. To maybe sort of solidify things and make things a bit more tight and difficult to sort of break us down a wee bit. And we just haven't done that enough in games. We've got to be. I saw the goals we conceded in that 8-minute spell. We just weren't. There was no conviction. The defending was just, there was a bit too easy. I mean, we need to be a bit more sort of aggressive in those areas.
Yeah, Amici hasn't started since August. He's got 2 goals in 2 games. I think him coming back will be a bit of a boost for the squad. We've seen a bit of him against Reading here on the screen, but he's very creative. Yeah,
100%. That's what we signed him for. We signed him to try and create stuff. And we've lacked that at home when teams are sat deep. With that sort of player, you can open up a defence and pick a pass out. His goal against Reading was very good. Top corner finish, to be honest, and he took his finish against Doncaster as well, the 5th one. So yeah, he's got good quality. He can see a pass, and people like Talai will probably benefit from that because they know what they want to do. You want to go down the line, come back on his left foot, and put those sort of crosses in. So fingers crossed, Osani and Talai can sort of benefit from his bit of expertise in that area, in the wide areas.
Yeah, it's, I mean, Osani and Amici kind of helping to bolster Talai. You'd like to think it puts Argyle in better stead than previous, where we're kind of like maybe unnecessarily too dependent on Talai, kind of maybe coming up with stuff himself, which wasn't really working.
Yeah, I think when you play at home, the onus is on Argyle to go and take the game to the opposing side, and you said at the start we've only won 3 games at home. I think that's definitely a real issue for us. Derek Adams, I listened to him in the fans forum. He was talking about bringing more players top end of the pitch to go and create stuff. So him coming back's like a new signing in a sense. So we've got to capitalise on that, use that, and get on the ball in good areas. Whether he'll last 90 minutes tonight, I don't know, because what you don't want to do is risk him and put him out for another period. So you've got to make sure but he needs to start games because we need him in the side.
Yeah, well, Wycombe also conceded 4 goals on Friday, so there is that as well. Yeah. That was away to Luton. They're looking for just a 2nd away league win of the season. This is the side they've gone for on your screen there. Norris, Grimmer, Casey, Hagglesjar, Harvey, Mullins, Henderson, Leahy, Onyedinma, Woodrow and Bell, and on their bench Van Sass, Quaterna, Boyd Muntz, Fink, Huggins, Taylor and Abbott. I think it's 3 changes for them as well, Brian, and it's tricky because Argyle and Wycombe are in very similar situations going into it this evening. What do you make of the squad that they've got?
Well, they're experienced side, lots of appearances throughout their side, to be honest. There's some players making landmark sort of stats today in their appearances. I think Woodrow coming back in the side, he's on loan from Luton. He was couldn't play against Luton on Wycombe's last game because of his parent club. He's a decent player at this level. Bell's on loan from Bristol City. He's a decent player. So they're a decent side. They'll be aggressive. They'll know how to no, I think they've beat us once and we beat them, and
Yeah.
they beat us in the cup and we beat them in the league. So yeah, it'll be an interesting game. But I was looking at the league table. We've actually won more games this season than them.
Really?
Yeah, they've drawn a lot of games. So yeah, their away form's been really poor. But it was just an interesting stat that we've won more games. It was just really interesting.
I think a lot of when you factor in the stats with Argyle, a lot of them don't seem to make sense. Like that one doesn't really make sense. Talai being, I think still the top goal scorer doesn't seem to make sense in relation to where we are in the league.
Yeah. I guess probably that's a sign if they've drawn more, they maybe know if they can get back into the game, they hold it out type thing. And that's probably a little bit of lack of experience in our team that maybe when these players come back that we've got tonight can really, really help us. But yeah, it was just, we probably defensively we need to be a bit more aggressive on the front foot than we were definitely against Reading, especially when you're up against it.
Yeah.
You know.
There's some big number stats as well in for some of the Wycombe players. Daniel Harvey's 199th EFL game tonight, and Grimmer also in line for his 400th game in English football. You mentioned Bell as well. The goals for them have dried up a little bit lately, just 2 goals in their last 6 games, and Bell hasn't actually scored since November alongside Anya Dinma. So again, that's a little bit promising for us if they're not in the best goal scoring form.
That bit of lack of confidence in front of goal is obviously massive for any striker, and they'll want to try and end that and try and put an end to that. That's a bit of a sequence of results and goal scoring stats for themselves. But football's a strange game. I look at the goals they conceded last against Luton. They were really bad defensively. Individual errors that maybe don't allow you to get a foothold of the game. They get your strikers any form of chance, but Bell's a decent player. He started his career at Bristol City and he played a few games there, and he's probably gone out on loan now to get a bit of experience. Woodrow at this level is a really good player. So yeah, they'll look to get back on track, but they've got loads of appearances, lots of experience. That tells you, and that maybe tells you why they don't they don't lose a lot of games, in comparison to us maybe. So I think we've lost 13 or so, where they've lost 7 or 8. So it just tells you that maybe they can hold. Maybe if things aren't going that well, they can maybe hold the result out. Because I did hear Duff saying that they gave away 4 goals at the weekend, but they haven't really done that much this season. So that was maybe a bit of a one-off.
Well, yeah, I mean that will certainly be something he's clinging on to.
Well, exactly,
we'll hear from him in a minute. We are going to hear from the head coaches now, but we will start with Tom Cleverley. Charlie Price caught up with him earlier to find out how he's hoping to bounce back tonight.
Let's look at the game coming up on Monday then, Wycombe Wanderers. We've played them twice already. We played them twice quite recently already as well, and had quite differing sorts of performances. So, I mean, what do you expect from that game then? From our side and from them, I suppose.
Yeah, it's been an interesting game. It's 2 wounded animals from yesterday's games. I still look at Wycombe in a very positive light. They've only lost 2 in 12 league games. You could spin that and create something negative maybe on their form, with them getting done for in the FA Cup as well. So I think they'll be a bit of a wounded animal. They'll be looking to react, as are we. But respect to them, they are a good side. I think they're one of the form teams since Michael went in there. They've got top 6, top 8 form. So we're expecting a really tough test, but we managed to overcome that challenge away from home, and they're a side whose form drops off significantly away from home, and we'll try and capitalise on that. Yeah,
when you look at the 2 games we've had against Wycombe this season, I think you said after the second one, the league one, that it was such a kind of turnaround, a difference from the first time we played them in the cup a couple of weeks before. We've seen the best of them, and also I suppose some of the best of us in the 2 games we played against them already.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first game in the FA Cup, we can acknowledge that with the ball, if you let them be, they can hurt you and they can make you suffocate. And they did in that FA Cup tie. Now, in the league game, they did make us suffer at times, but I thought we were much more disciplined, controlled, aggressive when we needed to be, and dangerous ourselves in transition. I expect the game, in terms of control, to be a lot more balanced. With us being at home, we've been mentally in a much better place, consistency of our game plan. So I expect the control aspect and where the game's played to be a lot more balanced in those two games. But I thought, yeah, we showed a much better version of ourselves in the second game. And it is an advantage. They're the team we know the best this season. They're the team I've watched the most of, and fully aware of their strengths and weaknesses.
It's interesting at the end there, him mentioning Wycombe's probably the team that they know best this season. So classing that as a bit of an advantage, maybe, rather than looking at it on the reverse.
Well, the fact this is the third time we've played them, so yeah, you'd have done your homework leading up to those weeks playing them. So yeah, you'd know your stuff and see how they evolved. Like, they had a brilliant November, December. They've had a sort of risky period in performances wise, but two of those losses were in the cup games. So their league form's not that bad.
No.
You know, they're only 4 or 5 points off the playoffs, so they're still in a decent position, and they'll want to get their form. They'll sort of turn the results around. But yeah, I think, as Tom cleverly said, the onus is on us at home. We've got to help control the game. I remember that first game in the cup. They got bullied by Wycombe, and it just shows you the progression they've made when they went and got the result in the league game. And we're saying they scored for us in that game. But it's a big game tonight, because I think we've had a good run of 3 games with wins. We can maybe say the sending off and that 10 minutes of madness, we can maybe give the team a benefit of the doubt. But hopefully, we can not have too many more false dawns, in a sense. We can sort of kick on from this and get a result tonight and have a really good second half of the season. Yeah,
it's a really bizarre feeling at home park, not feeling like this fortress that it has done for season upon season. I suppose the benefit, as we've alluded to, is that Wycombe are coming into this game off the back of their own 4-0 defeat on Boxing Day, and we will hear the thoughts of Michael Duff after we've seen the goals from that game.
Michael, a really tough afternoon for the Wycombe fans to face today. How do you assess that one?
I watched the same game as them. Christmas Day was yesterday. Four of the worst goals you'll ever see. You come to a place like this and people don't stand up and take responsibility, do their jobs properly, end up playing bluff football, pass, and then whack. Pointless. But ultimately, the goals, you can't at any level, if you see one of those goals in the game, you're disappointed. 4 on the same day, with a good away support. And disappointing. It's a mentality. You can't be that good at home and this bad away. We need to get to the bottom of it somehow.
It's the second time this month. Obviously, we hope that game at Exeter was a bit of an anomaly, but to see it again really hurts today, doesn't it?
We haven't given up many soft goals. Just today, given 4, because it was nowhere near. There's no point me trying to defend the performance. It's unacceptable. But every part of the game we didn't do well today. Didn't fight, didn't run, didn't pass it properly, and lost duels and gave them goals. They've done absolutely nothing. You go in at 1-0 on that, you might be able to tweak a couple of bits and bobs, but probably on top for a little 15-minute period in the second half, and then shoot yourselves in the foot again. So really poor day for everyone.
The response here is really important, isn't it, now with the game so quickly coming up at Plymouth? I think we saw Luton fired up from minute 1 today. They had a bad defeat last week, but almost used that as a catalyst to come back stronger today. I guess, a similar from Wycombe on Monday night is now what's needed.
I don't think it was Luton being that good. I think we gave them goals. And then when you're at home, teams give you goals, you're going to get them up. It's irrelevant what other people are. We need to give a better performance than that. It's a long way to go. It's away form. There is a good team in there, but they're so sporadic at the minute, and it's home and away is night and day. We need to get to the bottom of it.
And also perhaps depth up top as well. Obviously, Corley, Woodrow today. So although we're talking about problems at the other end of the pitch, very little created up top as well today.
Didn't do any part of the game well, so got thoroughly beaten.
Pretty honest assessment, I think, from him there. Massive individual errors in that game, which you alluded to before. Now we've had the chance to look at them back. I know that second goal in particular has been going viral.
It's a comedy act, wasn't it?
Over the last couple of days. Yeah, really, so some of the, like you said, the first one is what it is, but a few of them there make for bizarre watching. Yeah. And I imagine if you were a Wycombe fan, it would be really frustrating.
Yeah, you'd be turning your hair out type thing.
Yeah.
I think a few key words you use there, unacceptable. You can't stand that. Like, I've played against Michael Duff. He is like fight, aggressive, run, and he wants that from his team. And you probably wouldn't expect these teams not to do that. So I guess the probably bit that Tom Cleverley will be saying to our players will be they're going to come out and they're going to fight and scrap and they're going to maybe be difficult to play against. A bit like we did at home a few times where we've scrapped a few results where we've maybe sat a bit deeper and we've maybe become harder to sort of to defend against. So yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting game tonight, and I think it's about us taking the game to them. Amici getting more of the ball high up the pitch and making things happen. Because I think the best way to defend is attack.
Yeah.
You know, the ball up the far end of the pitch and make teams get deeper and deeper and put them under pressure. And then once you get the crowd behind you at home park, we're unstoppable. So that's the bit. More attack and play, get the crowd going, and then seeing where the game goes from there. And then being defensively, doing the right things, being aggressive. Essentially doing all parts of the game, But that's what you need every player having a 7, 8 out of 10 to win games at this level, because it is difficult.
I mean, when you look at the lineup Tom Cleverley's picked in light of, Joe Rawls, of course, with the red card as well, it looks promising in the same way that Boxing Day looked like there was potential in there. Hopefully we won't have the hiccups that we faced a couple of days ago, which result in, the hands of some players being forced a little bit there. We've also got to factor in, which may or may not come to fruition. I think it's Carl Brook, the referee, this evening.
Yeah.
You've got your stats.
Well, I'm not going to take the credit for that, but we did hear that he likes a red card. So I think we've sort of knew that he sort of sent Weirdo off early in the season.
Yeah.
But he's sort of known for that stat, thanks to Chris Errington.
Yeah, Chris Errington said 10 reds in 20 games.
So so it's about discipline, doing the right things, and not making decisions easy for referees, especially defenders, making sure they don't get booked early on.
Yeah.
But you're right, we've got plenty of experience in the side tonight. In the middle of the park, we've got plenty of legs, and we want to get tight to people with Weirdo and Boateng. So yeah, I think for me, apart from maybe Rawls being suspended, that's probably our strongest side at the moment. You know, so fingers crossed we can sort of kick on and maybe forget the Reading. It's a blip, and let's sort of crack on now from take the confidence from Doncaster into this game and go and get a good result tonight. Yeah,
you can't say fairer than that. I think that's what we're all looking forward to, and we haven't got very much longer until kick-off, so it's about time we hand it over to your commentary team. Reminder very quickly, if you haven't got your match passes, now is the time to do so over on the website, pafc.co.uk. It's Charlie Price and Katie Middleton doing your commentary tonight, because Argyle against Wycombe is up next.